Did you know that after Jesus was born, Mary and Joseph's life got even more crazy? Hey there, welcome to my channel, and we are continuing our series called What If Jesus Hadn't? We've been looking at different aspects of Jesus' life and asking ourselves this question: what if Jesus hadn't done that? Now, we're going to be honest with you. It wasn't required. They could have simply said, you know, we appreciate the warning, angel, but we're not going anywhere. John chapter 6. Verse 14 says that when people believed in Jesus because he had just fed them with 2 fish and 5 loaves of bread, he said to them, "Truly, truly, I say to you, you are seeking me, not because you saw the miracles." Click here to watch that video. What if Jesus hadn't raised Lazarus from the dead? Click here to watch that video. And don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an episode. But because you ate your fill of the loaves and your thirst was satisfied. Now this was a pivotal moment in Jesus' earthly ministry. People wanted to make Jesus king because he had done this miracle for them. And while feeding 5,000 people isn't a bad thing, it was actually a bad thing for Jesus to do because they were looking at him as a human Messiah, someone who could deliver them from Roman oppression. So Jesus knew that these people weren't following him because they understood who he truly was, the Son of God. But because their stomachs were full, Jesus could have simply said, "Hey, sorry, I can't be your king," and walked away. But instead, he took the opportunity to teach them more about himself and what his true purpose was. Jesus didn't have to do this. He didn't have to tell them anything, but he chose to do it anyway. In their case, they decided to follow God's voice through the angel and leave Bethlehem. And because they did, Jesus' life was spared. We don't always have to say yes. We can say no. But sometimes God calls us to step outside of our comfort zone, to do something that we don't necessarily feel like doing, and to trust that he will be with us every step of the way. Okay, so what might have happened if Mary and Joseph had chosen to stay in Bethlehem? Well, most likely, Jesus would have been killed. Now, we don't know if that would have been the end of Jesus' earthly ministry, but we do know that he would then have grown up and begun his ministry at 30 years old. If Jesus had been killed as a baby, most likely his mission wouldn't have been carried out, and we wouldn't have a savior today. Simply put, Mary and Joseph's decision to leave Bethlehem was extremely important. It was crucial for the plan of salvation. There are some things that Jesus just absolutely had to do in order for our salvation to be accomplished. But what about those things that maybe he didn't necessarily have to do, but he did them anyway? Are we saved by grace, through faith alone? Yes. But are there things that we should do once we become Christians? Yes. So, let us go back to the very beginning and look at what may have happened immediately after Jesus' birth and how it impacted Mary and Joseph. According to Matthew chapter 2, verses 13 to 15, an angel of the Lord appeared to Joseph in a dream, saying, "Get up, take the child and his mother, and escape to Egypt. Herod is going to search for the child to kill him." So, he got up, took the child and his mother by night, and left for Egypt. There he stayed until the death of Herod. This is to fulfill what the Lord had spoken through the prophet. "Out of Egypt I called my son." So Joseph didn't really have to flee to Egypt. The angels simply told him that they needed to get out of town, because King Herod was looking for Jesus to kill him. Now, Mary and Joseph were obedient, and they did flee to Egypt, but they didn't necessarily have to. But what about those times when Jesus chose to do something that maybe he didn't have to do, but he did it anyway? So what's the lesson here? Simply this: we don't always have to do what other people want us to do. Well, that's it for this episode of What If Jesus Hadn't? What if Jesus hadn't been born in a manger?